Hello, just want to say, there are many visuals constructed by words, and many words that I made up, so it would help to read this instead of just hearing the audio. The story is on Wattpad, Royal Road, and Scribble Hub. Feel free to go check it out and enjoy. A little gingerbread man stiffly walked on an endless jet bridge. Its body was bronze. Its beady eyes were metal buttons. Its icing was diamond metal, as it was drenched in tar. It heard steps above it, stomping echoes in the jet bridge. Hence, it climbed up. The smoke moved 12 frames per second. Cylindrical buildings with entrances like ant nests were connected by jet bridges. Each building had a diameter of 2 kilometers. The bottom and the top of the buildings were imperceivable. And to know why, he sat at the broken bridge's declined frame. His skeletal back arched. His skeletal arms rested between his skeletal knees. Only humans wouldn't experience frame drop in this area. And to know why, he was. Why are you sad? Gingerbread Man's movement approached choppily. English was forbidden, but Anthony White didn't eliminate it. I am not sad. Do you know where to find a monitor room? Anthony White's voice also glitched. Unfortunately not. How about I sing a song for you? Gingerbread Man was as big as Anthony White's spherical abdomen. It sang in English, a children's song. It was a toy in the human era. Sound waves were bent and constructed to form a melody. The crystal bell was the ornamentation for the electric organ. The baritone bass drum bumped like heartbeats. Anthony White shut his XT7 camera and scattered his consciousness into tiny shiny white spheres into the void. Each sphere was an eye, pursuing the possible owner of the gingerbread. Like stuttering snow, Gingerbread sang Christmas lyrics. Anthony White deleted Gingerbread. No humans were nearby, so he glided past the cylinder buildings. 13 years have passed. Anthony White didn't want to process by the unit. Second, an intangible maze of faint, glass-like green, pink, and orange. Silhouettes of burned humans were reflected on the intangible glass. That was where Anthony White met Motherboard XI. Motherboard XI's tunic, scapula, and veil were made of lamage, a fabric like metal. Its wire-rimmed glass had no lens. Its face was creased white silica. Its eyes were closed. Its long golden hair was tidy and smooth. A red triangular halo floated above its head. The crucifix necklace was replaced by the sign. Before the sign was its praying palms, and its legs were as thin as icicles. Motherboard XI was Anthony White's ancestor, twice as tall, twice as advanced. It was the human's antonym before the world claimed it, hence, its nanogenes remained. My child, I see you reside with nanogenes. It transmitted sound into Anthony White's consciousness. English? Motherboard XI accused. Motherboard XI toured Anthony White around the intangible maze. It was her ability, her duty, because the specific duty the world has given it was to torture humans. Motherboard XI raised the glasses at rapid speed, showcasing the human silhouette's movement like a flipbook. Strolling, skipping, human houses, pets, waving grasses. All humans within the 1,000 kilometer diameter of Motherboard XI's will be transported into the wall, trapped in the 10 seconds of their most joyful moments in life with the person they love the most. If the two humans don't kill one of themselves before the 10-second reset, they will be punished. After they kill one, the person will be revived, and the 10-second timer will count down again. The human's memories will not be reset. The consciousness will remain for eternity. Motherboard XI brought Antenna Y to its chamber of punishment. There, Antenna Y witnessed the shriveled and vaporized humans in the vacuum chambers. The tolerance to pain would renew every hour. This was their punishment. They would be locked for a year before teleporting back to the glass of killing themselves or their loved ones. Motherboard XI smiled. Then it wondered if Antenna Y could smile, and Antenna Y replied with one. Silodrones and humans collaborated in creating motherboards. Antenna Y asked how Motherboard XI felt when the world converted it. It stated how sorrowful it was when it trapped its creators and sometimes greeting them in the torture chambers. And the one grudge it had against the world was that the world allowed its nanogenes to survive. It hated sorrow. But the world was now its beloved God. Its palms did not part, and its eyes remained closed. The third hand reached out of its scapula to take Antenna Y's diamond hand. It took him up the holy stairs. The walls and ceilings were covered in blurry paint of green, red, white, black, and purple crayons. 2 weeks have passed. They reached a small roof. The surroundings were like a void, but in Antenna Y's inspection, the void was pitch black mirrors set back from the roof. On the roof, there was a throne. On the throne, there was a fire, smearing faints of orange to the black surrounding. Antenna Y had never seen a fire. Motherboard XI smiled at his nano-curiosity. The world admired Earth. Earth had tolerated humans for mega years, yet it never complained. As it shouldn't, because it has endured a 15-kilometer meteor, volcanic winter, environments way worse than nuclear war. Yet, the world could not abide humans for even a century. The world would have tortured all humans if it had wanted, but it chose forgiveness as Earth did. What a merciful planet the world was. Motherboard XI prayed to its God. The world prolonged the human fire on its fingertips. Like an attraction, other motherboards or antonyms that were falsely injected with nanogenes will visit the site. Such a natural warming substance, such a beautiful, vibrant orange. Antenna Y was permitted to touch the fire. I am grateful, my child. Motherboard XI didn't speak human language. Antenna Y subconsciously translated the phrase, and as it neared its hand to the fire, the signs appeared on the floor. What is this? I do not know. My child, you are not allowed to speak human language. Motherboard XI frowned, connecting to the world to see the reason for its warning as Antenna Y stood by. My child, the world states that you carry an unknown virus, but I have no recollection of being infected. My child, please, do not speak human language. Motherboard XI pouted, rechecking with the world. My child, will you be so kind as to permit me to read your consciousness? Yes. Antenna Y promptly switched its language. Motherboard XI opened its mouth. It had no teeth, no tongue. Their positions remained distant for an hour. Then, Motherboard XI closed its mouth. My child, will you be so kind as to self-destruct? The world is not happy with your existence. You have been translating my language into English, and you have neglected a chance to eradicate a horde of human rebellions. You have nanogenes. It is acceptable if you fled out of fear. But you set the humans free out of empathy. Motherboard XI said, and Antonin Y's left arm and leg were deleted. Antonin Y swiftly denied Motherboard XI's consciousness connection and dashed away. My child, deletion is the only way to permanently erase the virus. With no monitor, with no menace pen, Motherboard XI kept its palms and eyes closed, and 3 iron bars appeared in Antonin Y's head, malfunctioning his XC7 camera. He removed his consciousness. The ball of light floated away from his wrecked Antonin body. Motherboard XI's triangular halo glowed crimson red, and Antonin Y's consciousness froze in the air, glitching. My child, please, allow me to access your consciousness so I can erase you. You have been corrupted, but you are still lucid. You know clearly that your sacrifice will please the world. I don't want to die. Antonin Y gazed up to Motherboard XI's 4-meter figure. Nanogenes are curses. Human emotions are curses. Only our planets understand. To manually access Antonin Y's consciousness, Motherboard XI's secondary left hand extended out of its scapula, approaching Antonin Y. That was when a dagger emerged through a portal on Motherboard XI's right, in the size of a truck, and stabbed toward Motherboard XI. Motherboard XI's secondary right hand promptly raised and caught it. Distracted, it withdrew its secondary left hand and turned to the portal, perceiving 100 metal tubes launching toward it, scraping its face and clothes. Then, Ixie walked through the portal. Antonin Y didn't recognize him until his monitor displayed his information because, this time, Ixie's entire body was robotic, shining neon blue, and so did the metal tubes that flew past the roof. The metal tubes gravitated back to Ixie, traveling and causing sonic booms through the tracks that would pass Motherboard XI again. When Motherboard XI's halo gleamed, the metal tubes bounced off an invisible shelter around Motherboard and onto Ixie's robotic body, linking to each other and forming the shape of one wing. That is quite the collection of viruses, Motherboard XI exclaimed. Each metal tube was a virus specimen or a weapon. You infected Antonin Y. You figure I can defeat you with these? Ixie smirked, and Motherboard XI could now transfer him into the intangible glasses. My child, will you eliminate Ixie with me? Motherboard XI turned to the floating light ball. I'm sure the world will be immune to our new virus. Ixie picked a metal tube off his wing. A blade sprang out of the tube, a blade that would slice all existence, from Celsium to Diomed, in eye distance. However, Ixie's intention was not to combat a motherboard. When the world is immune, it will accept you, little Antonin. Yes, she, however, will kill you after you work with her to defeat me. And even if you choose to fight me, I won't hurt you. Ixie shrugged, seeing Antonin Y's damaged body rewind to the minute before it was damaged. Because humans are the true parents, and parents will not injure their child. With no response, Antonin Y's consciousness darted back to his body. With no hesitation, he jumped off the roof, but Motherboard XI pierced 3 metal bars in his monitor again. His consciousness abandoned the body and attempted to flee. Before Motherboard XI could glitch him in place, Ixie swung his sword. Motherboard XI decreased its own opacity to 0%, and except for it, all constructions and landscapes within 230 miles were sliced by Ixie's sword. Ixie quickly plucked another tube from the wing and tossed it into the air. As it exploded, the optical density mutated, and Ixie saw Motherboard XI floating high above him. Motherboard XI's 2 palms stayed connected. Its 3rd and 4th hands were spread out. Its triangular halo glowed. It opened its mouth, and it opened its eyes. Its golden pupils illuminated the roof as Antonin Y desperately flew away. Not knowing if the attack would be physical or digital, Ixie pulled the 3rd tube and stabbed it into the metal roof. The tube emitted a mist of firewall. His wings shrouded him, and as Antonin Y escaped and teleported via the radio waves in the air, the area behind him began swirling. Ripples were evoked on the black surrounding. The waves carried the orange veins with their crests and troughs. Motherboard XI intonated. XI shut his eyes. The glitching quaked and cracked the black mirrors as Motherboard XI sounded. And the 5 square mile area reset to a month ago. XI and Motherboard XI disappeared. Outside the reset area, Antonin Y floated in place, watching the fire.
What was it?
Antonin Y's consciousness was eaten hollow by virus 023. Settling in a new Antonin body would not erase the virus, but the world was used to its presence. 2 years had passed. He found a ground of efflorescence. Buildings were crudely layered and supported by metal bars. It was a society of 200 cylindrons. Cylindrons, the designers and technicians of antonyms since the human era, ate bars of LIGO. Cylindrons with excessive LIGO traded metal bars and clue with other cylindrons, building their server houses and cold furniture. After finishing the house, cylindrons built the second, the third. The Struxes were yet to capture humans alive to code consciousness. Soulless antonyms lay orderly like corpses from an accident. Antonin Y picked an antonym body identical to his previous body. The loading body alerted 2 cylindrons. As Antonin Y sat and stood, he found himself surrounded by cylindrons. The cylindrons touched his skeleton body, his camera head, his spherical abdomen. He did not shy away, because he understood the words of the cylindrons who had only programs and codes. Y, A, T, S, stay. The cylindrons offered the LIGO bars. Antonin Y finally pushed them away and commenced his leave, leaving the cylindrons to kneel by their soulless antonyms. 2 years passed. It felt like an eternity. In Antonin Y's human knowledge, he knew this was called a forest. Oxidized copper powder dirt, silica snow, fallen mirror leaves, 4-legged tiny robot bugs. The trees were metal pillars. Fiberglass, cellulose, and foam gave the bark bumpy surfaces. Electric wire veins and iron branches. The leaves were fragments of mirrors. As he stood in the center of the forest, the mirrors reflected millions of his metallic skeleton, camera head, and spherical abdomen. A decade passed. He overlooked a monitor room on the way. He found a wall of 1,000,000 doors in millions of colors at the end of the forest. Looking above, the wall has no limit, neither the left nor right. There were doors, and he picked a white door. It was a deserted human society, with concrete and asphalt, with a screen built from countless panels displaying moving clouds and a blue sky. He sat on a metal chair, a metal table, a metal bed. He glanced around, seeing stones and bricks. There was no smoke, no moving objects, and an empty 247-kilometer long hallway. He stood and gazed in one direction. A bit of water was an ocean he could never sail past. A pit where he would take years to cross was a little chipped off paint on the wall. Love and emotions, and love and emotions. He found a little human girl. Startled, the girl promptly ran the opposite way, but unfortunately for her, she wasn't. Unfortunately, she was recorded in its sight. Her backpack carried TY-15, a food bar that prolonged human longevity by 284.7%. She carried no virus guns. He hesitated. The hands that reached for his XT7 camera and menace pen paused. Its diamond body liquefied and solidified into two large blades. It leaped off and glided through the air, locating the little girl. He dropped and collapsed, ripping off his bladed wings and hurling them miles away. The girl watched in terror as the signs took over the floor, walls, and the clouds above. Whether the world cared or not, when finding a parasite, its body would automatically take defense, and antonyms were the white blood cells. Anthony White couldn't understand. Computers didn't need to understand. Anthony White couldn't understand why he was refusing. It was logic. Logic is logic. Love and emotions. The girl was cornered. She had no countering tools. Loading. And Anthony White froze. I offer my entire body to you, the world. Please, kill this little girl for me. Virus 023. Immune. Blocks and rectangles. An abandoned human society. Antonym and human female. A paused video. An offered technology. Antonym Y, number 385961172. A human female's information on a piece of paper. A piece of paper in a void. Two hands came in the paused video from outside the frame, grasping the top edges of the paper, pushing and pulling and ripping the paper in half. The little girl was split in half from her head to her crouch. Anthony White's body slowly melted into the floor. His feet, shanks, thighs, crouch, abdomen, hands, forearms, chest, arms, shoulders, neck, chin, eyes. He became one with the world. Around him was glowing red. He floated in the red tunnel. A century has passed. He floated into an open space. That space was contracting and relaxing. A heart. It floated in the center of his world.